Welcome to episode 36 of Confessions of an SEO. I'm your host, Carolyn Holzman, and you have found the most non-SEO SEO podcast on the planet. Any shiny SEO tactics in here are completely by accident. Here you'll find the people side of SEO. It's time we ourselves put a human face on our misunderstood and often maligned industry. This is agnostic information concerning SEO from somebody who's been there on both sides. A brick and mortar business owner for over 28 years just trying to get through the day and get more business, and a reformed client SEO of 12 years so far, now a seriously seeking SEO researcher and tester. I am not here to sell you. When it comes to client SEO, I deeply believe the farmer and the cowboy should be friends. There's mutual revenue opportunities when we understand each other's work better, and frankly, I am super tired of hearing business owners say they got scammed and ripped off, and good SEOs getting hung up on when they reach out to earn new business. So if you're an SEO or business owner or a C-suite executive working with a SEO marketing group, I hope you find value in here, or at the very least, a few minutes of respite. Good morning. This week's episode is going to focus on some training for local businesses, owners, those whose revenue generally ranges probably from, let's say, 200,000 up to 10 million, okay? So you're the ones that might be staying awake at night trying to figure out how to increase revenue, and who also might be managing all their marketing themselves, or should I say micromanaging, most likely. Been there, done that myself. Well, before we get started, I want to share some data from the Google Index Detector that I shared with you last week. If you're curious, you can listen to last week's show, or you can Google American Way Media Index Detector. It's a page where you can quickly see if Google is indexing new content or rendering JavaScript. So green light, it's really simple. Green light, yes. Red light, no. And this week, Google not only started indexing simple new content for the first time since the spring, they're rendering JavaScript. Woohoo! So now is a good time to resubmit any pages in your Search Console that are saying things like, when you check the coverage, discovered not crawled, or crawled but not indexed. Okay, back to this week's topic. So I'm going to call this one like how to prepare to hire an SEO, a local SEO agency. And this topic came from an article. It was published, I'm sure, with all good intentions to help business owners be able to evaluate their options. You can find it on Search Engine Journal, published August 27, 2021, by Amanda DeSilver. Just look for Amanda. Okay, when I started preparing for the show, I thought I'd be able to cover the whole article. But it looks like that's not going to happen because we all have things to do today. So this is going to be a part one, and I'm just going to talk about the beginning of the article. And I'm going to list them. There are like 5 of them. And just let you know that, a lot of it, it's going to sound a lot simpler than what it has been proven in my experience. It's not impossible by any means, but this is not something you should expect yourself to rattle off as if, this is the answer, especially in cases where you may never have thought of it in this way. So here they are. Here are the 5. Know your company's goals. Know your competition. Have enough SEO knowledge before you go in that you can evaluate candidates. Know your options. For example, are you hiring an individual or a company? And have a schedule or ideal way to monitor progress and work with the company you end up hiring. So let's go back to that first one. Know your company's goals. Okay, this sounds simplistic, but it really deserves attention. And typically, I found, from both sides, as a business owner and an SEO, the time you most need to do this is the time you feel least like doing it. So if things are dire and you need business right away, or you're going to have to start laying off people or selling things, you don't need SEO, you need advertising. SEO is not fast like advertising is, and if you need to to do that, you need to look for, let's say, something more along the lines of pay-per-click or pay-per-call, or look for a way to advertise on radio or television. Stop torturing yourself. And for those of you who need to figure out who your client is, if you're going to advertise, you have to know who you're advertising to. And so this is where people start talking about personas. Who are your customers? Are they men or women, single, married? Do they own their own business, etc.? And typically what I found is that when asked to do this, a lot of business owners make it's just an amateur mistake. That's all. No big deal. Nothing is permanent or final. But it's thinking that if you describe your ideal, or you take the time to describe your ideal customer, that what you're actually doing is pushing away people that could be your customer. And we've all held the belief, right, that everyone is our potential customer. So yeah, that may well be true way out there at the outer bands of possibility. But for today, if you can see your perfect client, describe them, pretend you know where they go out to have dinner, you'll have much better success targeting them with ads. And this is also useful if you're not advertising, but it is essential if you are. Okay, so now if things are not dire, you might want to ask yourself, do I want to show up in my local area in the map packs? Do I want to expand into a surrounding geographical area? Is there a competitor that I'd like to do better than? Are there digital opportunities that I'm not taking advantage of that my competitors are? Do I want to outsource social media and SEO together, or just the SEO? That's my personal pet peeve. I added that one in myself. So like most things, if it's up to you as the business owner or the executive, you have to know what you want to do. The how is not, at this point, essential to know, right? That's not your job. But your job is to know what you want to do. So do it. All right, so the next thing is know your competition. And this is a really fun area, because I've yet to talk to a local business owner who really knows who their actual online competition is. They always think it's a particular group, when in reality it is literally right under their noses. Most business owners look online at their place of business, like when you Google. And so when you do that, you could easily be fooled into thinking that you have no real competition. I have news for you. Essentially, what you're seeing when you search for yourself, or what you do at your place of business, you're seeing that because you are literally at your business. Now, if you look for what you do at your location and you're not number one in the maps, that's what you should note. That's a problem. But if you are searching at your business and seeing yourself, just understand it's just going to reaffirm the belief that you have no competition. So I have an idea. Why not drive to the part of town where you'd like to get more business? Pull over, because it's not safe to drive and use Google. But from that location in your car, search for, let's say, one of your services. See who shows up in the map pack. Is it you? And if it's not, that's your competition in that particular area of town. And look in the regular listings, what we call the organic ones. Are you there? And if not, that's your competition. Drive around and you'll start to see who it really is, because your ideal customer is somewhere in those areas, and they're looking at the results that you are also seeing. So make a list of the area and make a list of the competitors that show up when you search for that. Now, this is a bit of a doozy, this next one. Have enough local SEO knowledge before you go in that you can evaluate candidates. Okay, I have a hard time with this one. It's like the advice to be a day trader. Be able to identify deals and buy low, sell high, but do it later. And it's true, that is what you should do to be successful. But seriously, what is enough local SEO knowledge? That is a serious barrier to successfully hiring an SEO company. It's intimidating, and quite frankly, it's a fool's errand for you. I'm sorry. Someone has to tell you that. So, sure, you can read an article about SEO and think you've got it. But let's approach it from a different direction. Is that how you handle your legal aspects of your business? You learn how to be a lawyer so you can hire a lawyer? Are we to become electricians in order to harness the power of electricity to turn on the lights so we can function in our own offices? I've said it before in earlier episodes that there needs to be, I think it's screaming that there needs to be some SEO service where the goal is to evaluate SEO proposals for businesses of other SEO agencies. Now I know probably most SEOs would do a Dick Cheney and come back and say, your best prospect is me. But I have to say, I've read so many of them that they've actually surprised me that the service was even called SEO. One in particular I remember reading was pretty much all paid advertising, but the business owner who brought me in was convinced they were getting SEO. You know, SEO is what happens before the click. And tuning a page or pages for search results for that search phrase is the activity of SEO. An ad is putting an offer in front of a specific audience to entice them to click on it or take the action. That's the conversion part, right? There's a conversion part in SEO. But what goes into SEO is what makes it really hard for the SEO to draw a through line from the SEO work to the desired activity or action. Now, what is not hard to do is to measure the amount of traffic before any SEO is done to, let's say, take a page and just measure that traffic. And then measure that traffic afterwards, after the tuning is done. So the idea is obviously the ranking goes up, you get more into the stream of where people are clicking. Now, while you're doing that, Google is updating and tweaking what they, as a search engine, value in terms of any particular SEO factor or combination of factors. And because they do that, that is why you really pay to have an SEO. So this advice of understanding SEO so you can evaluate SEO providers, I don't think that advice sets a business owner or manager up for success. And it's not an intelligence issue, it's an experience issue. I'll stop there and stop banging on that one, but I don't think that's helpful to you. I think you need to find someone who can evaluate it and pay them to do so. The last two, know your options and have a schedule. Now, I think these are very helpful if you're hiring a single person SEO operation, and I've been one before. You're likely paying for more knowledge. They aren't trying to middle manage their way into a process that helps them manage their people so they can send you a report to justify what you're paying every month. And the flip side is that if they don't know their limits and they don't build a team and they take on too many clients, you could find their effectiveness waning over time. Now, it's not that they're lazy, but that they're doing too much. So you would be likely wanting to pay them enough so that they aren't running out there trying to get more clients so they can build a business. Now, if you hire an agency, you're paying not only for the work that they do, but also for the support structure of people to provide the strategy, to implement it, to check on that implementation, to write up a report, and then spend the time on the phone with you to go over the report you don't think you can read without someone telling you what each line is. All right, I might have put a little scorpion sting in that one. Okay, sorry about that. Now, as part of this, that is why it's so important that you have a schedule where you can talk with whomever you hire. Don't put them off. Take their calls, answer their questions. You have an important role to play in letting them know what types of calls you're actually getting. Are you seeing growth in one of the services? Are you wanting to create a bigger opportunity for the business for that? This is where when people say, you want to partner with your SEO efforts. This is what that means. It doesn't mean micromanage them to death to make sure that, you paid for 5 hours of work. That is not what you're going after here. You're going after developing a relationship so that you can say, hey, could we do this? Leave the how to the SEO company, and understand that if you are talking about these things and adding these things, they might have to be adding more activity on their end to accomplish it. So you're paying for expert advice. Why not take advantage of it? Well, we're going to stop here today. Next week, I'm going to start going over the questions in the article that are recommended for business owners to ask SEO companies when they're evaluating them and what to expect. Thanks for listening. Appreciate receiving your questions and comments, which you can send to confessions@AmericanWayMedia.com. And if you missed it, episode 31, I really am asking for business owners and SEOs to send in, your circumstances, questions you have, situations that developed and how you manage them. Because really what we want to do is we want to crowdsource this thing so there is less antagonism between businesses and the SEOs that work for them. And of course, anything you send in is presented on the show without any identification, so you can share freely, help yourself and others who are like you without the feeling you're having your cover blown. Thank you for subscribing to the podcast wherever you're listening to it, and if you haven't, please do so, and let your friends know about Confessions. If you want to share it with colleagues or business owners, just copy the URL of the episode. It's also on Amazon Alexa, so you can listen in your car. You do have to say that you want to add it to your daily briefing. And of course, you can Google Confessions of an SEO. You can't miss it. We all stand to make more business and success with each other when both the SEOs and the business owners understand each other better. It's been my pleasure to be your host. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the SERPs.